This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, other info types, country to country, these are different. For example, in case of USA, it's mandatory that we need to maintain 207 and 20 or 210 info types, without which we cannot run payroll. These two info types are compulsory in case of USA, and along with these info types, these are international info types and mandatory info types for every country. In case of Canada, 0461, 0462, 0463 are mandatory info types. Okay, without that we cannot run payroll. Clear? So like this, country to country, the mandatory info types are different. So here we have only one info type that is left, which is info type 0008. What do we need to learn in this info type 0008? Basic pay. Okay, this is called basic pay, or in other words, we call it as a basic remuneration. Basic remuneration. Okay, so what is a basic remuneration in our CTC? Generally, there when you look at your CTC, it may be classified into two types: regular and irregular. Regular CTC, which is paid on a month pay period basis. Regular allowances paid on pay period basis. Irregular allowance, which is paid in a once in a 6 months or once in a year, maybe, or once in a quarter. That is called performance bonus. The performance bonus are variable pay. Clear? So in this info tab, what we maintain is the earnings which are paid for our day-to-day scheduled work. In info tab 7, you have created work schedules 8 hours a day. If employee works 8 hours a day as per the work schedule, what are the payments that are paid for the pay period? Those info tab, those various steps are maintained in the info tab 8. Okay, if you don't work as per the schedule, then if you are on unpaid leave, for example, or joined in the middle of the month, or left in middle of the period or month, both are same. Okay, middle of the period, then these components, then these payments
On proration basis, sir.
earnings are reduced. Yeah, so that's called basic remuneration. The remuneration which is reduced when employee does not work as per the scheduled hours and paid for the scheduled hours. That is called basic remuneration. So there can be several components in it, which is basic pay in India. In case if you see, which is basic pay, you see HRA, house rent allowance. Let's say some companies are giving conveyance, and then special allowance, like this. These are the components that are regularly paid in case of India. Okay, clear? So the not every component, it's not like OT, overtime, incentives are also earnings. These are also earnings, but these are not maintained in InfoTap 8. These are not maintained in InfoTap 8. Why? Because these are not paid for the scheduled work. Okay, this is for the extra hours worked by employee. This is for the units of work produced, kind of a bonus. These components are not reduced when employee takes unpaid leave, when employee joined in the middle of the month, right? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
So these are not maintained in InfoTap 8. There are other info types. for maintaining other type of allowances. But whatever is the allowance that is paid for the scheduled work, okay, and for the allowances the range allowances, the range of the allowance is depending on grade and level. The allowances of which the range is depending on employee grade and level. Such allowances are maintained in InfoDAP 8. Are maintained in InfoDAP 8. Such allowances. So this is the one thing. The second thing, what we maintain in this InfoDAP is pay scale structure. This is going to be another structure like the 3 structures in InfoDAP 001. This is going to be the 4th structure which are particularly used in payroll. Okay, in payroll or pay compensation, the pay scale structure. So the pay scale structure is what actually determines the range of salary and the set of allowances applicable to the employee. The range of salary and the set of allowances applicable to the employee. Okay, that is a pay scale structure. Okay, so here what definition, if in case of definition if you need to tell it like this. These are the set of criterias on which the set of allowances applicable to employee and the range of salary is defined. The range of salary is defined. A set of criteria on which the set of allowances are applicable. Allowances are determined. Okay, and the range of the salary is defined. That's what is the pay scale structure. These criteria can be based on pay scale type, which can be a employment, okay, like a permanent contract, nature of work, or frequency, or working time conditions, full time or a part time, okay, nature of work or a frequency or working time conditions. What else?
Sir, great, sir.
Agreement types. Agreement type doesn't come here. Employment, nature of work, frequency. Okay, so these are the criterias. And another is pay scale area. Okay, another type of criteria. This can be a location criteria, okay, or industry that the operations or entity is in, or company code directly, okay, or business unit, okay, or business unit or divisions, etc. Okay, next, which is called CAP, collective agreement provision, agreement types and all. So these are like salaried agreements, hourly agreements. Generally in India, all are salaried, but when you go to the US, okay, so are you going to work in terms of salary basis or hourly basis? There is a type of agreement, right, between you and employer. Yes or no? Okay, so that agreement also determines which allowances are applicable to you. Okay, determine and which way the calculations happen. Within this, we have grade, okay, grade, and within the grades we have levels. So totally how many components? The components of pay scale structure. These are the 5 components. A pay scale type, pay scale area, collective agreement provision, or the grade or the levels. Okay, so look at this, how I'm going to create Infodap 8 for the previous batch employee. You see, I did not maintain pay scale type. It is coming automatically. I did not maintain pay scale area also. Okay. Again, it is coming automatically. Pay scale grade is the one that I need to choose. If you notice, the salary component, basic salary, uniform allowance, transport allowance, these are also populated automatically here. Okay. I did not maintain them. So all these things we need to configure. And you see capacity utilization, I'll come to this point, working hours for pay period and annual salary calculation. Now up to this, the moment I select the grade and level, he is, let's say, manager level 1, and click on enter the quantity for this waste type 30%, for example. Okay, the moment I click on enter, annual salary is calculated and the remuneration is automatically calculated. Okay, clear? So the pay scale type in area should be automatically defaulted. The waste types should be automatically defaulted. The amounts are automatically calculated. Annual salary should be automatically calculated. And these two fields automatically populated. So that is what we need to target. We need to target and configure. Clear? Is that clear to all of you? So this is what we need to complete in InfoDAP 8. And also, I can run payroll right from here. If you see, payroll simulation run, I can run the payroll pay slip and run a simulation and see if I pay like this, what will be the employee total net pay. Okay, these are not completely designed pay slip. You will get the total net pay of employee. Okay, the earnings, the taxes calculated, everything can be derived easily. So this is what we need to target. We need to complete InfoDAP 8 just like this previous batch employee. Okay, and what else we have here? The next one, annual salary configuration. Annual salary configuration. Okay, and then next one, payroll simulation feature. Okay, payroll simulation feature. And we have a capacity utilization. You don't have to do anything. This is auto updated by from InfoDAP 0007 from the employment percentage field. Pay period working hours. This also automatically updated. So that's why we must create InfoDAP 7 first and then create InfoDAP 8. Do not create InfoDAP 8 without creating InfoDAP 7. Okay, clear? So these are the configuration points in the InfoDAP 8. First, we start with the pay scale structure because without which we cannot save the InfoDAP. So the pay scale structure is a key thing that is important for the payroll as well. So before we start with InfoDAP 8, and we have 14 InfoDAP 14, InfoDAP 15, the other payroll InfoDAPs, InfoDAP 267, InfoDAP 11, InfoDAP 57, 2010, 0416. Okay, these are globally used InfoTAPs. Even InfoTAP 2001 for absences, 2006 that is required for the payroll for the quota compensation, 2003 substitutions. Have we discussed substitutions?
Given brief, sir. When the employee suddenly change the means is
Fine, I will explain it. So these are the transactional data. Okay, these are the transactional data, and these are the InfoTAPs where the payments and deductions are maintained along with InfoTAP 8. Why can't it be a single table where we can maintain the payments and deductions? Why SAP has provided these many tables? Okay, these many tables for maintaining the allowances and deductions. What's the reason? What's the reason behind that? And that is what we need to understand, right? So the same single table will do, right? This you can say go to this waste tab, go to this payment info tab and maintain the waste tabs list of payments and deductions in a single table. So the main reason behind giving these many info tabs and what actually we maintain in it, what actually we maintain it 15, what actually we use, in what case we use 267, that is more important for payroll. Okay, it's more important for the payroll. So we start with InfoType 8. Okay, and then we start working on the other InfoTypes slowly. Okay, now let's say in my company I have two categories of employees or three categories of employees. Okay, the pay structure is also varies from permanent to contract and trainees. All three have a three different set of allowances, which is exactly based on employee subgroup grouping, employee subgroups. Clear? Employee groups and subgroups. So the same can be a pay scale type here, or it can be monthly and hourly. It can be monthly employees and hourly employees. The pay scale can be monthly or hourly employees, or it can be full-time and part-timers. The pay scale type can be a full-time and part-time working time conditions. It can be anything. Okay. So here I will choose employment type as a basis for defining the pay scale type, which is permanent. Okay, which is permanent. I will configure to P. Contractors, I'll configure to Q. To R, I'll configure to R. These are the my pay scale types. It's a 2-digit character code, guys. This also a 2-digit character code. And salaried are represented by in the standard system with a 3. Hourly agreements are represented by 1 in the standard SAP system. You can use other numbers as well, but when we have only 2, we use 3 and 1 because 3 and 1 is already in use in the standard system. Okay, now I have a pay scale area. Let's say I'm configuring this for New York N2. This is the New York C2. This is the California. I'm taking a location as a pay scale area. Okay, location as a pay scale area. It can be industry. So you don't take it blindly while you are implementing in real time. You don't take it blindly. You do the analysis. What are the actual criterias, okay, which are differentiating, which are used to differentiate the salary among the employee groups? Or in other words, how these all the employees in the company are divided into different groups and what criterias all the employees in the company are divided in a different criterias for the payroll purposes, and those criterias are part of pay scale structure. You map them either as a pay scale type or a pay scale area or a CAP grouping or grade and level. So where do you map it? It's up to you. But so the client should feel easy to maintain them, should feel easy to trace them. Okay, don't take blindly directly when you start working on the payroll directly. Don't configure all employee groups, employee subgroups as a pay scale types. You need to do this analysis. Study the payroll policies first. In payroll, how these policies are differed, on what criteria these policies are differed. That criteria must be part of pay scale structure. Okay, so I have 3 pay scale types, 2 pay scale areas, 2 agreements. Totally, how many groups you will get when you combine these 3? Anyone?
12.
12. Okay, it is like this: permanent New York salaried employees and hourly employees. Okay, permanent New York salaried employees and hourly employees. Permanent California salaried and hourly employees. Okay, similarly, contract New York, who are the salaried employees and hourly employees. Okay, contract California, who are the salaried and hourly employees. Similarly, trainees in the New York, trainees in California. Okay, so all the combinations you need to study. So if you look at the pay scale structure, first one 2P into salaried. Okay, 2P into New York. First, let's write salaried employees. I have taken these codes 2B, 2Q, 2R randomly. You guys take a different codes. Okay, these are salaried employees. Now I have hourly employees. So totally how many we have? Let's say in trainees, we don't have hourly employees. In trainees, only salaried employees are there in the company. You can remove it. There is no rule that every combination must exist. Here, in trainees, there are no hourly paid, all are salaried. So then remove them. Only keep contractors, okay. So now look at this. Manager, level 1, level 2. Managers, let's say this is pay scale group. And we have engineers level 1 and level 2, and we have workers. I'm not taking a level. There is no rule that we should take the level. Compulsory level is not a compulsory, but group is compulsory. Okay. Now, in California also we have a same applicable. Okay, in California also we have a same applicable. But in contractors, I don't have managers and executives. We are not hiring, this company is not hiring contractors and executives. Only engineers and workers are there. Only engineers and workers are there. So that's it. In trainees, we don't have a levels. Let's say only trainee. Only the group, no levels are. So these are pay scale structures. How many we have totally? 22 pay scale structures that are salaried. 22 pay scale structures that are salaried. Now in case of hourly, only engineers and workers we are hiring as a hourly basis. Okay, only the engineers and workers we are hiring as a hourly basis. Management and executives are not hourly paid. They are salaried in this company. So I'm removing them. Okay. So totally, how many entries we have? 22 plus 12. 12. We have 34. We have 34. Take the screenshot of this. We are going to configure the same in the system. We are going to configure the same thing in the system. So what is the pay scale structure? Every combination of pay scale type, area, CAP grouping, pay scale group and level. Every combination of pay scale type, area, CAP grouping and pay scale group and level is a one pay scale structure. Is one pay scale structure. So based on the definition, okay, we have how many pay scale types? 34 pay scale type pay scale structures we have. Okay, 34 pay scale structures we have. So we need to create them in the system. Is it clear? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what are the steps? Define employee subgroup grouping for PCR and CAP. First step, define pay scale types. We have a 3 here. Define pay scale areas. We have a 2 in this case. Default pay scale type and areas in info type. You remember when I create info type 8, pay scale type and area automatically populated. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, default pay scale type and areas. Next, assign currency to every combination of pay scale type and area. Now in this, create pay scale groups and levels for every combination of so these are the steps to complete the pay scale structure, guys. We need to complete this pay scale, these steps. Okay, clear? Only pay scale structure part, not the remuneration and other things. Only the pay scale structure we need to work on this. So let's start. And the document that I shared, structures document, it has all the steps in it. It has all the steps in it. Okay, so you follow the navigation paths. Let me check. This document I shared already in a group. If you scroll down, you see the path. Clear? Where do we do this? 7 steps. After completion of this, then we start configuring the payments and deductions. These are the steps. And then we have other topics for a payroll simulation features and direct indirect valuations, etc. Okay, so follow this document and start working on these steps one by one. Now, the first step, which of the employee subgroup groups are salaried and are hourly, we need to define. Which employee subgroups have a hourly agreements, which employee subgroups have a salaried agreements, which is CAP. That is the first step. So where do we do it? I'm doing it for USA. First setup, user parameters to USA. First step. Every time you work on payroll, you must set up the user parameters to that country that you are working. I'm doing it for USA, so I'm setting the user parameters to USA. Okay, so follow the path for the first step. It's in personal administration, payroll data. In payroll data, we have all the info types. This is basic pay configuration. info type 14 configuration, 15 configuration, 267 configuration, 2010 and 0416 quota compensation, and we have 57. So all the info types are here. We are working on basic pay, and we have all the 7 steps here. So right from here to here, we need to complete. Here, there are 7 steps here. Some of the steps we don't need to work. Some steps we compulsory configure. So the first one, define employee subgroup grouping for PCR and CAP grouping. And here you see all your employee groups created, employee subgroups created. You see my employee groups P1M. Okay, look at this, because I'm using them in the previous batch as well. So this setup is already done. You guys, for you guys, it's a new. So in this, assume all your monthly employees are salaried employees, all weekly employees are hourly employees. Okay, but in real time, there is no rule that every weekly employee is hourly paid. In real time, weekly salaried untaru, salaried might exist, weekly hourly might exist in real time. But now in this scenario, in this training, we assume all salaried employees, all monthly employees are salaried, all weekly employees are hourly. So for salaried employees, take 3 here and then 1 here. Hourly employees, for hourly employees take 1, salaried employees take 3. And what is this rule? PCR. It's a personal calculation rule. So salaried employees calculations are different and hourly employees calculations are different. See how the hourly employees are paid. We have to define a hourly rate in the agreement, not a basic salary. Okay, for a salaried employee we have a basic salary. For a hourly employee, what do we have? A basic rate, hourly rate, right? Basic rate, hourly rate for hourly employees. Okay, so in this case, salaried employees calculations are different, but hourly employees calculations are different. Hourly employees are paid with a rate, and you need to take the regular working hours of an employee and multiply with the rate and pay it to the employee. But salaried employees, we don't need a regular attendances. What we need only absences. Clear? See, salaried employee calculation is like this. You join in a company, and if you do not take unpaid leave, how much do you receive? You receive full salary, right? Okay, in a month you take unpaid leave for 5 days. How much do you get? What ratio do you get? 25 days divided by 30, right? 25 days divided by 30 ratio, you will be getting the salary. In this example, did I mention attendance or did I mention absence? Which one I mentioned?
Absence.
Exactly. So every other day is assumed as a working day. That's how we have a calculations in salaries. Okay, unless there is absence, every day is a working day. It's only when there is absence we reduce it. So we are tracing absences, not attendances. But in case of hourly, we trace attendance.
Attendance, yes.
Attendance is more important. So the calculation rules are different. So all salaried will have a same calculation. So I'm grouping with a 3. this will be used in the schema and PCRs. Okay, so this is used in our MG setup for the agreement currency and the pay period, working hours, agreed hours, okay, and agreed days. All this will be based on 3N1. These 3N1 are calculations which we use in the schema and PCR design. So all salaries will have salaried calculations, all hourly will have hourly calculations. So when you are configuring for all 1Ms monthlies, take 3 and 3. Salaried employees will have a salaried calculations. Hourly employees will have a hourly calculations. So in case of hourly employee, what you maintain, the amount you maintain in Infodap 8 is going to be considered as a rate because of this. What difference does it make? What difference does it make? If it is 3 here, the amount that is maintained in Infodap 8 is a pay period salary. The amount that is maintained in Infodap 8 is a pay period salary. If it is 1 here, the amount that is maintained in Infodap 8 is a hourly rate. So system classify it and identify the amount in Infodap 8 based on this employee subgroup grouping for PCRs, and it is mandatory for every combination of your pay scale types and areas, not sorry, employee groups and subgroups. You need to configure this step. Is this clear? First step, all of you? Don't leave any columns blank here. Don't leave any columns blank here. Okay, if you leave it blank, your payroll driver will not be successful. Payroll will be terminated when you start in running a payroll. Then
Pratap,
yeah,
actually you're saying these PCRs and schemas, right? So in future classes, will you be explaining how to write the PCRs for us?
see, that's what this program is all about, right? It's a payroll program.
Yes.
Training is not about payroll. So without learning a PCR and schemas, we will not be able to finish the payroll.
Okay.
No one will be able to implement the payroll.
Fine.
Okay. The next step here, check pay scale tabs. So we have 3 pay scale tabs I'm going to configure. It's already there, it seems. 2P is already there. So I will use this 2Q. So you guys create these 3 entries, but don't use the same names. Okay. Somebody might have already used them. You create 3P, 3Q or anything, A1, A2, A3, it's up to you. Okay, it's up to you. Complete till here. Next, creation of pay scale areas, which is the next step. Pay scale areas. Okay, I will take it in this way. N2, New York. C2, California. C2, California. Okay, so I have taken any 2 entries, C2 and 2. Okay, So these 3 steps I have finished today. So you guys complete it and you can move forward. You have videos, all videos with you. Clear? You complete all this advance. Anyone tried configuring InfoTab 8 before I explain?
Yes, sir.
Who is this?
Suresh, sir.
And what about others?
Sir, I have tried, sir.
And others?
Yes, sir, I did also.
Okay. So all others are not practicing. All right, guys. So I'll stop here, complete these 3. We'll complete this tomorrow and then we start with the base types, which is the next configuration. See you tomorrow.
Have a nice
Thank you,
day,
sir.
sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir.